In this video, I'm going to become the most deadly survival games player. Kind of. So let's rewind all the way back to May 27th, when the server MC Central revamped their entire survival games and reset all the stats for it. Now this completely reset the entire lifetime stats. Everything gone. Doesn't matter anymore. The guy who was in #1 lifetime, nope, not anymore. Now, of course, this opened up lots of opportunities as they completely changed their entire system, arguably making it worse, but we don't talk about that. Now, we're going to fast forward to June 26th, and this is when I rejoined the server after not playing it for like a few months. And when I rejoined, this is when I figured out about the revamp. I saw that, hey, wait a minute, where's my stats? But one of the things that I noticed was that they now had a leaderboard for like 6 different stats. It's kinda. I mean, they only really had a leaderboard for wins. All it really was for these other stats was just like a number next to the stat. But you know what? That was enough for me. So I started playing and I realized that in about 2 days, I went up 200 places in kills. And this is when I got the idea to start grinding kills on the server so that I could get into the top 10, possibly even #1. Now, this wasn't going to be an easy task. It would take days of non-stop grinding in order for me to get there, especially with the fact that I'm a month late to the revamp. So I started grinding on June 28th, and this is when I started rising on the kill leaderboard so fast. In the first week, I managed to get 1,361 kills. In 1 week! Just to give you a little bit of perspective on how much that actually is, a leaderboard player made a submission on their website about basically their stats within the first 10 days of playing the game, and they had 1,145 kills. I got more kills in less amount of time than a leaderboard player. Now, this wasn't due to skill or anything. This is actually due to the amount of time and effort I put in. I managed to put in about 6 hours per day of playing survival games and just stabbing people. And that's not even counting the amount of time waited in the lobby. I would even venture to say that I spent around 8 hours a day on this server. Within this first week, I managed to get 194 kills per day. And the only reason I got 194 kills per day was because of one day where I only managed to get 189 kills, and that was because I was very busy on the day. It was actually the second day that I began grinding, and if I managed to, not be so busy on that day, I would have had a average of around 210 kills per day. Now, of course, with numbers like that, I very easily managed to get into the top 10. It wasn't even really a challenge. The real challenge was the top 10. There was a select few players on the server that have been so dominant on the server that no one was even close, and there was around a 500 to 1,000 kill gap between the people in the top 10 and the people that weren't in the top 10. It was pretty insane, which made climbing through the top 10 the hardest task of this entire thing. After getting into the top 10, I managed to pretty easily climb to #8, and that's when the first roadblock appeared for me. Now, with this whole thing, it would usually only take me a day to go up multiple spots in the leaderboard. But I was stuck on #8 for 2 days, which was more than anything else I had ever seen. But of course, after being stuck on #8 for so long, I managed to have the best day I ever had statistic-wise. July 7th. The day I ascended to become one of the most feared players on this server. On this day, I got 265 kills, which is 30 more than my previous record, which was around 238 kills. and it, to this day, is the most kills I've ever gotten in one day of my life. I also managed to get 19 wins and was number 2 on the daily win leaderboard, which is something I will most likely never do again. I was really proud of my performance that day, and with a performance like that, I managed to very easily make my way into the top 5. It was actually on this day that, while I was playing during the night, I noticed on the website that someone had uploaded a tier list. Now, I don't know when this tier list was recorded, but I only got a C tier in this. Bruh! After doing something like that, you only give me a C tier? What the fuck, dude? But not only that, can I talk about how incredibly dumb the tier list is? I mean, look at this fucking layout. What is this? D, C, B, B plus, A plus, S? Like, that's not how you're supposed to do a tier list. It goes F, D, C, wait. F, E, D, C, B, A, S. That's how it's supposed to be. Not D as the bottom one. C, B, B plus. Like, that's not how it's supposed to go. Get it right. Now, of course, with insane numbers like that on that day, I was invited to the best survival games guild on this server. The guild being called Godly. Now, they are very infamous for having the best players on the server, housing at the time 5 out of the 10 players on the top 10 leaderboard for wins, and I got invited to it. It was honestly really cool, and I joined it, and everyone in there was really nice. Yeah, if anyone from the guild is watching this, you guys are cool. Now that I had launched myself into survival game stardom, I became very feared. People would just straight up run from me, whether I had better gear than them or not. I would have no armor. These people would have full iron armor, and all I would have is like a wooden sword, and they would run. Almost everyone in the game would run from me. There were a select few people that wouldn't run from me, and that's because, you know, they were better than me. But pretty much everyone who I had killed before had ran from me. Except for these two. These two people are Stranger Things and iPant, and for some reason these two are fearless. They would say hi to me in every single game, but the weird thing is that iPant specifically would just walk up to me and tell me to kill him. It was some weird ass cult shit that I didn't know if I was comfortable with, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. When I got into the top 5, I had around 2,400 kills, which is a lot, and I made the prediction that number 1 most likely had around probably 3,500 kills. I was wrong. After 1,000 more kills, I was still in number 5, and it turns out that there were like 4 people who were just the most dominant players in the entire server, and I just need to know who they were, how many kills they had, so I knew just what I was up against. Now, I had seen a few people running around on the server a lot more than a lot of other people, but one of them specifically I thought was most likely, you know, in the top 4, and he was in my guild, so I decided to ask him. This is Pikio. He is the number 1 in wins, and in my opinion, probably the best player on the server, at least statistics wise. So I asked him how many kills he had, and the dude has 5.7 thousand. This guy is 2,000 above me, and 1,000 above second place. So I did the math, and I found out that if we both played at the same slope, it would take me over a month to catch up to him, and probably even longer, because, you know, odds are that we play at the same slope is really slim. So it was on that day that I decided to just, you know, give up. I wasn't going to waste another month of my life to get number 1 in murders. I am a very competitive person. I wanted to get number 1, but I knew that for my own good and for my own health, I would have to stop. It was really hard to make the decision to stop, and it would be even harder to actually stop. And my friends weren't making it any easier. But of course, the day after July 12th, I stopped. I didn't play survival games at all, and I came to terms that, you know what, this is for the best. But that doesn't mean I didn't pull off the the most insane numbers the server has ever seen. I put in 4 days playing this game. That is, by itself, a lot. But I'm also like 90% sure I got the most kills in one day with that 265 kill day. But I also managed to get 3,500 kills in 2 weeks, whilst the number one got 5.7k in 2 months. I could have very easily gotten number one if I wanted to, but I didn't want to spend that much time doing it. And, you know, I was already getting sick of playing survival games, and I just knew I wouldn't have been able to do it. But I could have if I wanted to. Now, I want to real quickly talk about the slope that we were both playing at. Pikio, who was the number one player in kills, was getting, on average, you know, I did the math, 121 kills per day. Well, I was getting 218 kills per day. I was getting nearly 100 more kills than him per day, and I definitely would have caught up to him. Now, I may not have made the most people dead. I was only 5th in that department. But that doesn't mean I wasn't the most deadly. I am the top killer of the month, and I could stop playing right now, and I would still most likely be number one, and I would 100% still be in the top 3, but I was the top killer 2 weeks in a row. And of those 2 weeks I played, in 12 of them, I was the top killer, and in 11 of them, I got over 200 kills. My kill stats were something this server has never seen. I was a killing machine. I was well oiled, and my one goal was to kill everyone. I am like 90% sure I killed everyone on the server at least once. I even killed the owner. Yeah, that's right. Now, just because I didn't become the number one killer doesn't mean I didn't get number one in any statistic. Because I'm number one for games lost. I've lost the most games on the server. Let's go!